Hi guys, I'm Phil Town from Rule One Investing, and today I want to talk to you about investing and financial tips for college students. First, I just want to say congratulations to those of you who are getting close to graduating from college. It's pretty flippin' gigantic, long, hard road, very exciting time right now because big changes are coming, right? Very important time in your life. And really, honestly, I know you probably heard this, but this is really the best time to get your financial house in order and set yourself up for a really good future financially, a secure future, a future of great investments that you make over the course of your working life that set you up for a long, wonderful life where you have the kind of life you want, where your kids have the kind of life they want. This is starting today. This is how you do it. So first, you got to start building your credit right now. Don't start thinking this is something that you should just let slide, because it's so easy when you're just kind of coming out of college and you spent your whole last 4 years putting off doing laundry. And now you're going to have to do some discipline about paying bills because, man, it's either going to build a solid credit history or it won't. And right now, maybe that isn't a big deal, but it will make a very, very big deal later on in your life. Absolutely will. So you guys, you need to start building your credit right now. You got to have a solid credit history. And I know that probably doesn't mean that much to you right now. You're not too worried about, big ticket items, but someday you will be. It'll make a big difference later on in life. You start trying to buy a house. I'm telling you right now, your credit history will make all the difference in the world. It's not just that you'll have to pay more interest later on, it's that they won't even give you a loan. Particularly if times are tough. That's where, people find out, wow, if I had good credit, I'd get a loan. If I don't have it, I can't. So the way you get started on that, contrary to what you might think, since we're talking about building financial independence, is you go get a credit card and go out and find one that's got lucrative signing bonuses and offers rewards and other kind of benefits every time you use it. Why not, right? And get started building that credit history. That's the point of the credit card. And of course, what that means is you pay your bills on time. You pay them on time. If you don't, you're going to get a credit history, all right, and it's going to be the wrong one. All right, second, learn how to budget and set yourself financial goals. There's some really good ways to get budgeting out there that if you're not used to it, that you can do. And you start just by tracking your income and expenses. And this is a big pain in the butt, I know, right? Just try to write everything down like you'd be doing if you were working out in the gym and you're trying to track everything you're doing, right? What the weights are that you're using. Or if you're trying to lose weight, you're going to track all the calories. Do that with income and expenses to get an idea of your true needs every month. And then get a spreadsheet out, Excel. Hopefully you got through college and learned how to use Excel. You didn't manage to go through without learning it. And you record your spending, download an expense tracking app. That would be good. I think one of the coolest things I ever heard about is to put money in an envelope to budget. So for example, once you've figured out what your expenses are and you budget accordingly, okay, so I need this much to go out and eat at a restaurant outside, and this is how much I need for groceries. This is how much I need for entertainment of some other. Okay, fine. You put the money for that at the beginning of the month or whatever pay period it is you're working with when your budget, 2 weeks to a month. You put the cash into an envelope labeled, let's just say restaurants. So let's say that you figured out you're going to spend, $500 a month going and eating out. All right, good. So 500 cash goes into that. And when you've spent that cash, so you don't use a credit card when you go out, you just go out and you buy the meals with cash. And when the cash is gone, that's the end of that expenditure. You can't do it anymore until the beginning of the next month. This is a really effective way. A lot of people who otherwise wouldn't be able to budget to save their lives have found that this kind of way of doing it is very, very effective. Obviously, in order to meet financial goals, you're going to have an idea of what those goals are. Ideally, you're going to have a real clear idea what those goals are. So setting goals, this is something I'm a big fan of goals, as long as you understand what those mean. Goals are intentions. This is something, I have this intention to do this thing. I'm promising to do it is a whole nother story on a whole nother level. So you'll have to decide which of these things you want to accomplish are intentions that you'd like to accomplish versus something you're absolutely going to do come hell or high water. So the idea is set a few intense promises, something like at the end of this year, I will save $1,000. Something that you can know the exact amount of time you're going to take, exactly how much it's going to be, right? And some quantifiable number. And you make that a promise. That's different than a goal. So I like to set goals every year. I do all kinds of goals. But other than that, I'm not a big goal guy. I mean, I like to do, like this year I set a specific goal, it's a very personal goal, a specific promise. And it's a very specific promise. I'm already doing it 100%, no doubt in my mind that I will fulfill this promise, okay? So that I don't do that for everything. Obviously, I don't do that for everything. I have other things that are kind of intentions, like a week by week intention that I have an idea that I'm going to do these things, right? It's my intention this week to work out 3 times on the hydro that I've got. And that's a pretty strong intention. That's probably going to happen. I mean, last week I had the intention to work out 3 times on the hydro. I worked out twice, but I also went to the track and drove about 8 hours, and that's a workout. So I kind of got my job done, all right? So those are intentions. Those are different than promises. Those are more flexible, and I try to do those on kind of a weekly basis. I'll put them on my calendar, the kind of things I'm expecting to do. Same thing with kind of monthly ideas. For example, if I'm trying to learn how to drive a race car, which I am, then I am going to need to put in a certain amount of time with a coach on the track to do that job. So I'm going to set that out on the calendar. Obviously, if I have to cancel something or if I want to add something, I can do it. That's vastly different than the promise that I've made myself at the beginning of the year that I will do this thing. And absolutely, hell or high water, burn the ships, this is going to happen. Whereas, okay, maybe I end up at the end of the year getting in 2.5 workouts a week or 2 workouts a week. All right, it's not the end of the world. See what I'm saying? Different thing between goals and promises. I would say a really key thing to setting out good goals, they're strong intentions, like the rowing thing, is just make a habit of it. Just do it every week, right? Revise them as necessary. And, maybe put in a 12-month financial success planner. I think, we've got a good one out there. I think it's really useful to have as both a promises and a goals kind of a planner. So, grab that. It's available for you guys. And then I would say, just in terms of financial planning, find a way to get some extra money going. This is super, super critical right now as a college student. You guys, if you can get money into the market right now, you don't have to be a great investor. If you can just stick it in there and forget about it for the next 40 years. I mean, man, if the market just does what it's done the last 40 years, you're talking about doubling your money every 8 years. So if imagine you could make $1,000, I'm doing some math here, $1,000 and you double it every 8 years for the next 40 years. That's 5 doubles, right? 5 times 8 is 40. So 5 doubles, that $1,000 from just this year becomes $2,000, $4,000, $8,000, $16,000, $32,000 without doing anything, without knowing anything. All right, so that's pretty good if you're able to do that and just stick it in the market and forget about it. And all of a sudden that 1,000 becomes 16,000. Now imagine if you did that every single year. You've got 16s starting to stack up on top of each other, right? But even better, imagine that if you took that $1,000 and instead of making 9% on it, sort of the market average rate of return, you learned how to invest well enough to, let's say, make 15% or 20%, or our target of 26%. Let's say 15%, okay? So 15%, pretty achievable by an individual investor. You do that every year. Every 5 years, you double. So now you have 8 doubles, not 5. So the 16,000 becomes 32, that's double number 6. 64, that's double number 7. 128. So now that $1,000 that was going to become $16,000 has now become $128,000. That's at 15%. Now, just for fun, what if you could do what Buffett was doing? partial of what Bubba was compounding. When he was a small investor, he was compounding money at about 50% a year. Let's say you could do half of that, 25% a year. Now you're doubling your money every 3 years. And we do that into 40, you're going to get, what is that? 13 doubles. Okay. Watch this, you guys. So we already did, let's see, we did 8 doubles. We had 128,000. All right, let's call it 125. So the 9th double puts us at 250, and then 250 is 9, and then 500, that's 10. A million, that's 11. 2 million is 12, and 4 million is 13. So you go 13 doubles out there. That 1,000 I might be in the ballpark here. Becomes about $4,000. All right, ballpark. I might be wrong here. Let me just double check that. I've got 13 doubles. Oh, I did do that wrong. 13 doubles. Watch this. Okay, 1,000, 2,000, 4,000, 8,000, 16, 32, 64, 128, 250, 500, 1 million. That's 10. 2 million, 4 million, 8 million. I was off one. $8 million. That $1,000 became. Now, let me ask you a question. Would it make sense for you to figure out how to get even a part of that 8 million rather than just sticking your money out there and working your butt off at some job to try to accumulate enough money to be able to retire financially independent by the time you're 65 years old? I mean, come on. Wouldn't that make sense to just give it a real shot at learning how to invest? I mean, that's what got me rolling as I started doing the math. And I thought, you know what, man, this sucks. I'm working as a river guide and this sucks. If I keep working at this rate, I'm just going to be an old guy working as a river guide and have nothing, living in a teepee, which is okay when you're young, but it's not so okay when you're, my age, living in a teepee. I don't know, maybe you think it is. So you're going to have to make the determination. Now, next thing I'm going to suggest to you guys is, if you've earned some extra money, is get rid of the debt. Get rid of bad debt, right? I mean, take on good debt, which is debt to buy a house at 3%. That'd be great debt. Debt to get educated, right, at 5% or whatever they're charging. So education debt, investment debt at the low interest rates are great. Terrible debt, that's that credit card we talked about you getting. Do not end up paying that off over time. My God, the debt becomes like 21% or something. If you miss a payment, it goes to the roof. So we want to get rid of bad debt so we're not having compounding working against us. And then just get out there and use the power of compounding. I did a pretty recent video about the power of compounding. You should watch that. And I'm telling you guys, you could absolutely crank it up at any of these rates of return, 15, 20, 25% per year. Just with a little extra work on your part initially and a lot less work on your part down the road. So I'd love to hear from you guys. What other kind of tips for investing in finance do you have for college students? What would you suggest they know? If you guys are out there and you're older and you're going to talk back to the next generation, what would you tell them? So leave a comment below with your answer. I'll be sure to follow up with you guys. And thanks for watching. Now go play. If you enjoyed this video and you think it was valuable for teaching you more about investing and financial tips for college students, just hit the like button and please share the video with your friends if you would. And if you want more investing content, I got a great channel out there. Subscribe to it. We got a lot of great videos. Don't forget to click the button on the screen for a free gift. Well, thanks again for watching.